All right, so I want to thank everybody for showing up and listening to our podcast. It's our second podcast. Mike Johnson is here, making it possible. Salvador Castaneda.
What's going on, guys? Episode 2. That's a lot further than a lot of podcasts make it, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so we're trying new things out as we're going. And today we're going to be recording a little bit different, using another tool that Mike Johnson wanted to check out. And,
we'll see.
Yep.
Fingers crossed.
And one of the topics that we're going to be talking about today is basically managing time and kids and how to get everything done.
Right. So, Sal, I'm in the thick of it right now. I feel like I'm just coming out of a fog here. My daughter's 8 months old, and I feel like I just started getting my brain back within the last couple of weeks here. But even trying to balance my time in my job and pay attention to her, because she can't really communicate and she's just kind of crawling around. I tend to find myself distracted by my phone, so I'm kind of keeping one eye on her and the other eye on whatever's going on at work, or whatever's happening with my other businesses that I'm trying to get started, or research, or whatever it is, YouTube, all that kind of stuff. But that's not being present, and that's something I have struggled with. So how you are a man who's a bit ahead of me in that game.
Well, I would say that I struggled for a long time, trying to pay attention to my kids, but it wasn't just until, and I always made different choices, and I took different routes or different avenues in order for me to spend time with them. But it wasn't just until recently that I was listening to a Grant Cardone episode, and he basically said, you don't really need to spend a lot of time with your kids. You just need to spend time with them, at some point during the day, to make them feel that you're there for them and that you're paying attention to them. And so for me, I've done a couple of things. One, I would take my kids to work with me. Two, I used to make choices that would make it to where I could spend a little bit more time with them than not. And those choices were, when my daughter was younger, I was divorced and didn't really get to spend a lot of time. I got her every other weekend and on Wednesdays. Mm-hmm. And for instance, on Wednesday, I would get to pick her up at 5, and then I'd have to drop her off at 7 o'clock at night.
Oof.
I made the choice of not even bothering going home, not bothering with anything else. And I would just pick up my daughter, go to the park, play with her, get something to eat, take her back. Mm-hmm. And to this day, she's like, I love spending time going to the park every time you would pick me up. And little did she know, it was just kind of me trying to find a fix for a limited amount of time mm-hmm. that I had with her. So little things like that I've always done. But I kind of go back to what you said. You're saying you're struggling to spend time with your kid, with your baby, but maybe you just need to be okay with the time that you do spend with your baby, as long as you make an effort to try and spend time with her every day, or as much as you can. Because I kind of find myself, a lot of people say, oh, I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that, I don't have time for my kids, but they spend all day looking at their iPhone. Mm-hmm. Or you're sitting together as a family and you're just watching TV. Mm-hmm. Or everybody's doing their own thing and nobody's ever really actually connected.
Yeah.
I just made different little adjustments and modifications to help me actually just kind of spend more time with my kids and kind of take that time factor of I don't have time to making it that I did have time.
So you're advocating for just more quality time. Like, you don't have to spend 8 hours semi-distracted from your kids. You spend 2 hours fully focused on your kids.
I don't even think it's 2 hours fully focused on them.
I don't think you can, because you have 5 kids and one on the way. So you'd have to, that would take up your whole day and then some.
Right. And then the other thing I did is I would do the sports with them instead mm-hmm. of having them join a sport where I'm just kind of sitting on the sideline.
Sure.
they're basically doing. So I would always do things with them.
Yeah.
The other thing I did was, this is kind of important for you a little bit because you're trying to do a lot of things right now. I'm kind of going through a little bit too, but one of the things that I did when I was really busy working at Infor, or with my job, and then trying to work on these projects, trying to get into real estate, looking at real estate, and then looking at other things, and trying to educate myself. And my wife had a business at that time, and she was always gone. And I mean, it sounds bad, but I hired an assistant, and I paid her a good wage, and she just did the things that I didn't really want to do, like mowing the lawn, cleaning the house, even babysitting and helping out. And at some point, I gave my time a number. I don't know if you've ever done that. Giving yourself your time. What's your time worth?
Yeah.
Specific number.
I do.
Okay.
I calculated my time in man hours, even down to like whether it's worth it for me to go. It's probably bad for me to go hang out with like some folks that I may be acquainted with. I got invited to, someone's get together, a birthday party. Is it more valuable for me to relax and stay at home for hourly wage, that kind of stuff? So, yeah.
What is the number that you gave yourself?
I gave myself $60 an hour.
Awesome.
And I think that, I've done a few calculations, I'm not taxing myself on money I'm not actually making and all that kind of stuff. So if somebody were to give me $60, would I go do this thing? And a lot of times they'll say, no, I wouldn't. It's not enough.
Awesome. So yeah, I gave myself $50 just to keep it round.
Yeah.
And, just for everybody out there, is if something costs more than $50 an hour, I might consider that I might need to do it, just kind of depending. But if it's less than $50 an hour, I might just let somebody else do it. And
sure, absolutely.
Do something else.
No, there's definitely a trade-off there in things that you can do that take your time away. Like I could easily, spackle and paint and build out the laundry room. And I probably will, just because the wife doesn't want me to spend that money. But I do think it would be more effective if I paid someone who is actually good at that, who'd probably do it a better job in maybe a quarter of the amount of time, while I'm maybe trying to do something else. And probably even, let's say I freelanced on the side doing some IT projects, I'd probably make enough money and then some to pay for that room to get done. And still, have been more effective with my time. Probably learn something in the process too. So
yeah, definitely. The other thing, I don't know if this is something that I've been doing here just lately, is scheduling out my time. Have you ever sat down and tracked your time to see what you actually spend your entire day doing?
I only at work, not my entire day.
And you'll start to realize that I waste a lot of time, and so I've been forcing myself, because it's new to me, I've scheduled my entire day.
Yeah.
And I can get a lot more done, and I pay attention to things that I should pay attention to, and waste a little bit less. Well, I waste a lot less time than what I was before, because, you lay down and you want to watch a show that you haven't seen for a while, or you want to read a book. I mean, I didn't even read a book, but just play on your phone. And so I've been scheduling my time in order to get the most out of my day.
No, that's good. I do limit my TV show intake. I try not to watch too much television, although, I love it. There's so many good shows, and somebody tells me about it. I'm like, yeah, I could binge watch that, but man, there's so many other things that I feel like I should be doing. I actually went as far as to delete a lot of these social media apps. I don't have the Facebook app or the Instagram app or, any of those others on my phone. I deleted a lot of the news apps.
Really?
I know I can still get to them through the mobile pages, but it's harder. And it's a little bit of a barrier for me to go do that, because I find myself falling down a hole. Now, I don't necessarily think that there's anything wrong with me, going through Facebook to catch up with what my friends are doing. But at the end of the day, what value has that given me? I don't think it's really any. The friends who I'm close to and who I care about, I talk to regularly. I see as regularly as possible. Some of them don't live around here, but we communicate in other channels. And so aimlessly kind of scrolling through whatever feed your social media addiction of choice is. The algorithms are built to keep you on there and keep you scrolling. They want you to look at more ads. They want you to be more engaged in what they have going on because you are a product to them. You're what they're selling to advertisers, and they want your eyes on there for as long as possible. And they're really, really good at it. And I don't have the self-control to not open the Facebook app when I see that little notification on there. I just don't. Instagram, same thing. I don't. If I see something pop up on the screen, I got to open it. And so I had to delete them. And I have gained valuable time back. I'm doing an experiment this week, Sal, and a friend of mine challenged me to do a fast. So I'm not eating for a week. So he watched a Netflix special. I don't recall what it was called, and I haven't watched it yet. But he was just explaining to me how he felt, and coming from a Christian background, I grew up in a Christian home. Fasting was a time where you didn't eat so that you could spend time, kind of praying and talking to God. And I have, sort of kept some of those values, but the reason I'm fasting is not for that. The reason I'm fasting is because I need a change in my body. I physically need to be healthier, and I think that one way to kickstart that for myself is to fast. But the food fast isn't the hard part here, because I've also challenged myself to fast YouTube, and I watch YouTube a lot, and I watch woodworking videos and blacksmithing and technical videos and all kinds of stuff, and it's just that's my way to unwind. But again, the algorithms get you on YouTube. I could spend man, you said tracking my time. I bet you I spend 2 hours a day on YouTube, just gone, right? And even if I learned something, it wasn't focused learning. It probably wasn't efficient. But that's going to be 2 hours of my life right now that I get back and get the opportunity to make some useful time of. So that's, what, I might try to fill out my time sheet knowing that at the end of the day, there won't be 2 hours of YouTube on there to make me feel bad.
Yeah, and it sucks sometimes because I like to watch some shows, and the way I scheduled my day, I left myself 45 minutes to watch TV from 9:30 to 10:15 at night.
And do you find yourself skipping that? Because I know that you're reading a lot of books right now. So do you forego that a lot?
No, because I still want to watch some shows that I want.
Sure.
I scheduled, so right now with what I'm doing, I scheduled what I'm reading during the day.
Yeah.
So I'm averaging, I would say 4 to 5 days a week. I'm averaging 4.5 hours of reading. And that's just kind of more self-inflicted.
Yeah.
Go overboard whenever I do something. And I had an idea of what I want to do with what I'm doing right now. But I felt like I was missing a couple of steps.
Mm-hmm.
So I went out and I got all these books that have to do with those steps that I felt I was missing. And instead of buying them, I just went to the library, and most of them weren't in my local library. So they had to order them from another library or outside of their system. And they all came in at once. So I basically had 14, 15 books that I needed to get through. So
instead of binge watching, you've been binge reading.
I've been binge reading.
That's probably better, I would imagine.
But it's real informative. But hey, let's get back a little bit to your fast.
Yeah.
I want to know what do you know about fasting, and just to change the subject a little bit, and how are you doing your fast?
So what I do know about fasting is that at least from my perspective, a lot of us, and I'm not calling anyone else out because I'm criminal number one on this. I use eating as an escape. Mm-hmm. I stress eat all the time after a long day. And by the way, I haven't been drinking since I don't. So sometimes I would have a beer just to wind down, or some whiskey or whatever. And I've actually stopped drinking until after I run. Well, I'm going to do a half marathon, but I also got signed up for a 10K, but I'm not drinking it until April. So no craft beer, no nothing. And so in place of that, probably for worse, is that, after a long day, I'd be like, man, I need some pizza. I need a cheeseburger. I need some French fries. That's probably okay for a time, but when you've gained too much weight and you're just living a sedentary lifestyle, sitting in this chair 10 hours a day, it's not good for you. And I need to break that cycle mentally and physically of using that as a crutch. I need to find more constructive ways to deal with my stress and to get out of that sort of, whatever I'm feeling from that day. And so that's part of it. It's the mental thing. And then the physical thing is I need to kickstart some healthier habits. So I need to not say, oh, well, tonight I'll eat a salad, but tomorrow I can have, a cheeseburger and some onion rings. No. For a week, it's me and some water. And during that time that I'm supposed to be eating, I'm going to focus on something else. I'm going to focus spending time with my daughter. If she's not going to focus, studying something. I'm going to focus building my business and use that time for something else. And hopefully, those things in combination will, at the end of a week, have sort of pushed me off on a different path than I was on before, a healthier path, both mentally and physically. But I suspect that since you asked that question, you have some more information about the exact physical changes and the little bit deeper mindset into why fasting is good.
Well, I was wondering how long you're doing a fast, like 7 days then?
I'm doing it for a week. So I ate at 2 p.m. today with my whole family. My wife's family went over there, had a little Chinese New Year celebration, and now I'm done. Me and water, and I'm probably going to drink some black coffee just because I don't think giving up food and caffeine is going to work for me.
Right.
But until next Sunday, nothing except for water and black coffee.
So we need to have another podcast on in 3 days.
Okay.
In 3 or 4 days, you're really going to be feeling it. From what I understand. So what I'm doing is I've tried to do the fast, and I've never made it past 4 days. But I think I should have.
What happened on the fourth day that made you cave? What did you feel like? And then what was like your breaking point? And what did you go eat when you broke?
So from what I understand, one of the things that you're doing when you fast is you're going to be removing toxins from your body. And basically all the toxins that you put in your body. So when you put bad, processed foods, you're just toxins into your body as you eat or drink normally, it doesn't make your body feel good. Everybody can attest. You eat something, just don't feel good afterward. Mm-hmm. I think, I'm not 100%, but I believe after the third or fourth day, your body actually really starts hitting that peak of detoxifying.
Yeah.
You're going to feel like crap. And I don't want to say that you need to quit. No. It's just hey, you might feel like crap, and you just kind of need to push through, because after that third or fourth day, you're really supposed to start seeing the benefits from it.
Yeah.
What I'm doing is intermittent fasting.
Okay.
And the funny thing is, I am starting today as well. Not that we planned on it.
We haven't even talked about this at all.
I was going to start on Monday, but after yesterday, I thought, you know what, I need to start today. So my intermittent fasting is I'm going to eat for 8 hours of the day and fast 16 hours every day. So every day I will eat for 8 hours, and every day I will fast for 16 hours, 5 to 6 days a week. And I'm going to try to make that a permanent habit for me.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because once your body gets done digesting, it gives and then you're not digesting food, your body actually starts to heal itself or pay attention to your body to re-energize it. Mm-hmm. And that's something I feel I need to do. And it's actually proven, I guess, in some Harvard study that you live longer if you fast, whether you do it the way you're doing it or you do it the way I'm doing it. So it's supposed to be healthy. The other thing I read is when you drink water through your fast, when you drink water, you want to put a little bit of salt in your water, or you want to put a little bit of the cream of tartar powder into your water. Um, and I just kind of heard this from some other guy that I was watching. If you have a little bit of minerals in your water when you're fasting, it'll actually help your body absorb them.
Yeah.
Where if there are no minerals in your body, you might just be drinking water and it's not actually hydrating you. It's just going right through you.
I know a sodium deficiency could be a problem, so I had heard that as well. So part of what I'm doing is a bigger goal for this year. I haven't been under 200 pounds in probably 16 years.
Really?
So I think I was the same height I am right now. I'm like 5'8.5" or so when I graduated high school.
Yeah.
And I was 5'8.5", 135, 140 pounds. And I'll admit I was way too skinny back then. Like that's not a body I could actually have ever again. It wouldn't be comfortable. It wouldn't be okay. But now I'm at 230, 235, and I haven't been under 200 in 16 years. So part of this fast, I'm hoping, is going to put me on the path, and the running and just being more active and being more conscious about it is going to put me on the path to meeting that goal well before the end of the year. When you set goals, for that long, however long you set the goal for, it's going to take that long typically, right? If you say, I got to finish this project in 2 weeks, it's going to take you 2 weeks to finish the project. If you say, I got to finish this project in 2 days, it's going to take you 2 days. It's going to take up the amount of time that you give yourself, whatever that is, to do the thing. Right. So I'm going to hopefully try to break that and just get to the 200 and be there for most of the year instead of, be wearing a sweatsuit on December 30th, running around the block trying to lose the last 5 or whatever it is. I want to blow that goal away, but that is a goal of mine. So that's, this is hopefully a start to that.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. I'm 5'8.5" as well. And I normally would be over 200 pounds, which I never feel good if I'm over 200 pounds.
I haven't felt good in a long time.
I don't feel good when I'm over 200 pounds. I don't. Physically, I do not. And so I had to really eat healthy here and there. Juicing was a big thing that I would do to make myself feel better. And I did lose a lot of weight one time, like I was telling you before, doing a boot camp class.
Mm-hmm.
That guy really got me in shape pretty good. I think I was like 185, 190, and I felt good.
Yeah.
But that was only for about a year. But outside of that, over 200 pounds. But I do have a suggestion for you to lose weight.
I like suggestions. I don't always follow them, but I do like them.
No, it's not a suggestion. I lost weight just quitting my job.
Yeah. was that stress or was that lack of stress? I don't even know.
When I quit and we went to live in Guatemala in Mexico,
mm-hmm.
we walked everywhere.
Yeah.
Walked everywhere, and processed food was just not around. Everything was healthy in the sense of fresh and from the ocean or juice. And both my wife, even our kids, my kids had all my kids had 6-packs.
Yeah.
And
that's probably something to that for sure.
So anyways.
Right on.
But good luck with the intermittent fast, with your fasting.
And you the same. I hope that you can stick to it. And maybe I'll do the fast and then go to intermittent after that. But we'll certainly discuss it in 3 to 4 days when I'm probably going to be sitting here not quite so chipper.
Yeah, exactly. But just keep yourself busy.
Yeah. I mean, I have no choice. I have plenty of things to do. My list is ever growing, even if I'm accomplishing a lot. And I think that's a good thing. I think that motivates me. So I don't want a list with nothing on it. That's a bad day for me.
Right.
Yeah. All right, folks. Well, I thanks for listening. If you have some suggestions on, how to spend more time with your family and how you've dealt with, or more quality time and how you've dealt with being an entrepreneur, being in a stressful job while having a family, please, send us a message, send us an email. We'll try to bring it up and talk through some of those on the next show. And I'm sure that this will be a topic that gets covered, repeatedly because our lives change. Sal, you got a little one on the way, right?
Yes.
When?
My wife just told me 9 weeks.
So your life changes again in 9 weeks. Now you've been through it before, but you've never had 5 kids and a 6 kid and a baby in the house before. So it is a new scenario for you.
It'll be a new scenario, but it'll be a different scenario. Because the last 4 kids that we had, or my wife had, she had them while she was working and I was working. Right now, I'm doing more of my own thing,
Yeah.
and kind of off for a year until she goes back to work for herself.
Wow. Yeah, that's going to be a huge change.
Yep. So it should be good.
Yeah.
Good. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Appreciate you guys listening. We will talk to you next time.
All right. See ya.